Day after day, ordinary people become heroes through extraordinary and selfless actions to help their neighbors. If one relates Sylvia Matthews Burnwell's words to South DeKalb County, she could easily have been talking about David George. In 2010, David and Gwendolyn George had a dream. They wanted to sell their South DeKalb home, buy 5 acres of land, and build a new home. But that dream was quickly deferred when the Georges were told that their property value was only 28% of what it had been appraised at 2 years earlier. The Georges were left with no option but to stay in their home of 25 years and make the best of a bad situation. But what David George did after that is where the real heroics came in. He decided to make South DeKalb a better place to live, not just for himself and his family, but for the entire community. No wonder his property value was so low. The area was infested with boarded-up homes. There was a proliferation of panhandlers. Trash littered the streets, and the public rights-of-way were severely bedraggled. The South DeKalb resident had no intention of sitting idly by and watching his community further deteriorate. So he literally started picking up trash along the sides of roads and began bugging the county to cut the grass and the medians and the rights-of-way. But that was only the beginning. David George knew it was important to organize others for a united front, so he became a founding board member of the South DeKalb Improvement Association.
The mission of the South DeKalb Improvement Association is to improve South DeKalb, and we do that via 5 different committees: code compliance and enforcement, public safety, education, and economic development.
David George and the SDIA knew that the key to achieving their goals in South DeKalb was to work closely with the county and its officials.
Well, I met David George in the current capacity I'm in right now, which is the director of Keep DeKalb Beautiful. I took this job in November of 2013, and on my desk, the first day of work, was a printout of an email, and it was David George. His name was on the top there, had a concern, and I was asked to call him, and that literally was the first call I made in that capacity. And my offer to him was to sit down and meet. We wanted to talk, and we did. And it was quite an interesting conversation. I can honestly say I don't think we agreed on anything in that first conversation. And but it was a start. It was an opportunity to get to know each other, and more importantly, to work together. Mr. George, and that's what I call him to this day, Mr. George, is just an amazing person. He says he's retired. I've never believed him on that, because I've always known him to be the first one out there, religiously cleaning up in his community, 6:30 in the morning, 3 or 4 days a week. And his schedule is 100% on. I can only imagine what his schedule looked like when he was actually working.
Because of the efforts of organizations like SDIA, there has been a resurgence of business on Wesley Chapel Road.
We would like to do for South DeKalb to improve the quality of life is to bring the companies and the businesses that we may frequent outside of DeKalb and making it more closer and something that's attractive to the people that live here.
For donut lovers, Wesley Chapel now has a Krispy Kreme and a Dunkin' Donuts. And Georgia Piedmont Technical College has taken up residence in the Wesley Chapel Crossings Shopping Center. When one looks at all the positive changes taking place in South DeKalb, there is one name that comes up over and over again, and that name is David George.
Yeah, David George is a person of integrity, high energy. He really cares about the community. He cares about people. Have never met a stranger. Very personable, hardworking person.
I see the fruit of his labor in his community, the leadership skills that permeate throughout that area, and not just in the area where he lives off of Flat Shoals, but also the other communities around there. And the momentum that has been part of that legacy, really, that he's worked so hard for.
It has been said that David George has a commitment to the revitalization of South DeKalb County that goes far beyond that of an elected official or a paid county worker, let alone a neighborhood resident. For South DeKalb, he is truly making a difference.